Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Polemos Lore AMA with Daniel. I'm just going to say Daniel because we are at that point with you. Everybody knows and loves you in the community, and you are, one of the driving factors between some of our new lore. So I'm super excited to have you on. We can talk about just upcoming lore, names, pronunciation, have some community involvement with creating a really awesome story. And today is just going to be a lot of fun. And we will answer any community questions about the lore that they might have as well.
Awesome. Let's do it.
So, hi, Daniel.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So, like I said, I think the first thing we should start with is talking about the new character that you've been creating, and why don't you give us some backstory around her?
Oh, you're literally opening a can of worms. I am not just creating one new character. Um, I'm so for everybody to have a little bit of backstory, you've seen the stories about the Naru. You have been introduced to all our characters now. Where you have Miri, our favorite seeker. Then you have well, there's two others. You have not been introduced to them yet. Timotei is working on finalizing that last piece of artwork for you guys, and then the story can be released. You will love them, I think. I personally love them very much. Their names are actually coming from my own language, so Surinamese and Saramaccan, and the names both mean woman.
Ooh, I like that.
And then you have Karab and Amandla. It was pointed out to me that Karab, being an Indian word, can be translated in several ways. I did mean like the Hindi translation of evil. So the pronunciation here, I added an apostrophe just to make it a little bit more sexy and a little bit more juicy for the for writing the story. And now we're working on the Newers and the Rultak. So for the humans, I already know who's going to be there. I only added two characters there. One of them is a 100% equivalent, 100% between brackets of our beautiful art god Timothée. His name is Playboy Thibault Le which is translated to Thibault the Hot One. It's not a 100% translation, but Timothée knows exactly what I mean. It's amazing. We've already discussed him a little bit. I'm going to write a very yes, exactly, a 100% playboy, and he's going to have a little bit of a rough life. But it's going to be fun. I think it will create some comedic relief because we have a very harsh and rough world.
Well, it's funny because the whole idea of this came around because of my Meet the Team AMA, right?
Exactly.
I feel like that actually was the initiation of us creating a character for Timothy, and it's absolutely amazing. So I'm so excited to hear that this is finally happening.
It is definitely happening. It's not just the character; he also has a legendary weapon, um, and it already has a name. I already know exactly what needs to happen, so I already have my briefing partially ready to send to Timothée to create it. I think it's going to be awesome. I already see him and hear him rolling his eyes, like, "Oh God, does this really have to be me?" But it's going to be really fun.
I also hear this in my head and see it, so this is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
The two of you together is so awesome, because I feel like you are able to bounce so many ideas off of each other, and some make his eyes roll a little bit, and he's like, "Oh God."
I mean, Timothée is literally a blessing to work with. I've said it a lot of times, and it's just the thing is, creatives really spend a lot of energy creating something, so you need to get it back. And one of the things you get it back from is getting creative input from other people. And I'm getting a lot from Timothée. It's really cool to just bounce off ideas of him with him, and seeing the things that he comes up with. Even though he sometimes wants to strangle me for giving him some super gory stuff, but it's still amazing.
No, I think that you guys, even though it was very gory, like the storyline that we are going down for just I don't know how many spoilers we can give. But just the storylines that we have in place that are more gory, it's definitely a lot of fun. So to hear that we have like both sides of that happening inside the Polemos universe, it's it's brilliant because, me personally, if I watch like a really gory movie, I need to have a comedy to watch after just to kind of have that nice balance. And I feel like that's exactly what's happening within all of the stories that you guys have been working towards. So, we might be releasing the Book of Essences later today, which I've been holding off on. But today is actually the day I wanted to surprise everybody by saying that we will
Oh God, yes.
way too gory overall. Yeah. It's so good though, and reading through it and just seeing the additional artwork that was created around this, like, I'm personally excited about it, and I was like, "We need the perfect time to release this," and it's today. It's today.
Yeah, and that artwork is part one of I think three or
Mhm.
four, because it's one large scene. I mean, this was Timothe's own idea. I didn't, you know, force him to make several gory stuff, but he really wanted to, and I didn't say no because it's amazing. Um, yeah, I think you guys are gonna love it. It's definitely one of the more fucked up
Yeah.
ones. Um, it is going to make a lot of sense. It will take a lot of time before it makes a lot of sense to all of you. Because even for you, Bria, there are some spoilers in there. I was discussing with Timothy, and we'll discuss with Sasha later on how to incorporate, a certain specific element in there, or several elements in there, which are just gonna blow your minds.
I'm really excited. It's gonna be awesome, and, you know, for everybody that has tuned in to the Wednesday art sessions where he just creates this amazing 3D scene just in front of us, like, it gives that the story that it deserves, from kind of the collaboration of ideas. So, I'm really excited. I'm really excited. Kind of on the topic of collaboration, tell us a little bit more about what you have been working on lately as far as the female newers.
Yeah. So the Newers have been a long time in the process. I've been focusing on establishing the Naru narrative first,
Mhm.
because it's uh, they were already there. We started with them. It really helps to like finalize one part and then move on to the next. So the Newers, we've seen them. We know what they do. They're fairly small. We have one city already introduced to us, Arliterum, where they live. That is managed by them. We don't know a lot about their society. So that is partially because I was thinking about it, discussing with Sasha, and how do we build their society? What goes the best? What fits the best for this universe? And I came up with the following. So the Newers, as you know, are very industrious. They are very smart. They are very good at engineering stuff, figuring out things. Basically, the drivers behind the science in this world. And what you also could have seen in the story of Pocus is that, sometimes their shit blows up. Now, because a lot of things are needed and because a lot of inventions are being done, a lot of investigating, because so much was lost, during the long night, there are not that many, well, there are a lot, but the life expectancy of male newer engineers has dropped drastically. Like a lot of them are just dying in droves, exploding, never come back from investigating stuff, basically causing their society to break down a little bit. So the females took over. So with the Newers, we're introducing another, another race that is has a lot of female power. With them, they're not a matriarchy like the Naru, but they're more like the Vikings. So the men are out doing all kinds of stuff, and for a large part, the females took over. So they run society, they run government, they run, the administration of the universities. They are the teachers, they are the caretakers. There are men there as well, but most of them are just driven by, okay, we have a name to uphold. We have to, fulfill our destiny. And this particular character that we were discussing today, I'm just gonna release two today. If I use the shorter version, Brie, it's going to be Sneaky Gazelle. That's what her name translates to. And she is basically a little bit of a con artist. She comes from a fairly rich family. Is not one of the older sisters, so she doesn't have a lot of responsibilities, causing her to be involved with some unsavory types, mostly humans. And she is just gallivanting through the known worlds. And she's the newer women are exceptionally pretty. And with exceptionally pretty, I mean, think of Victoria's Secret models times 10, and then in a tiny version. And then you have the newer women. They're very popular by the other races as well. They're very much pursued, and they use that to their advantage. So this girl, her name is Chelan Cincy, Sneaky Gazelle, and she is definitely awesome. I will type her name in chat.
I actually just did it for
exactly.
you. I got you.
Exactly. Chelan Cincy. And the name actually comes from a marketing intern that I used to work with back at Universal Studios. And I had a wild crush on her. She was definitely 100% amazing. So I will be, and she was also tiny. So I will be building her character loosely off of this person. The other one is going to be another evil person. So where Chelan is slightly mischievous, gets into a lot of trouble, but is quite of okay. She mostly looks out for herself, but she's not per se an evil person. I'm introducing another absolute 100% horror of a character. And this is this is a difficult one for me to pronounce because his name comes from Gaelic, Scottish Gaelic. It's a Damon Oak, and it basically means evil demon.
Yes.
And he is Timothy is I'm sorry, you're not gonna enjoy drawing the stuff for this guy. He is a scientist and he believes in science at all cost. This is the newer way. He has his motivations, which I will not divulge just yet. And he goes to the point of, testing out stuff on babies and murdering people to harvest organs, infecting whole villages to see what the impact is of certain diseases. This guy is as evil doctor as you can imagine. And he's going to be very heavily involved and clashing with some of the Rultak. And I'm so looking forward to their interactions because obviously he's very witty. I don't intend him to die. But I do intend to have him kill a lot of people. So don't get attached to all your characters. I might kill him off,
I feel like this is going to be a Game of Thrones situation, and I am now feeling immense anxiety. Like, I already have a connection to certain characters, so don't leak too much. But also, I don't like this. This makes me, nervous. We went with Sensi, but should we talk about the other option? Because I feel like this is kind of what we could talk about as a community vote,
the other option,
so to speak.
Yeah, so the other option for Chelan would be, and excuse me if I butcher it, Arash, I think you said it was like Lar Sadan. Is that pronounced properly?
So I'm reading it as Las Sadan. Zadan, yeah.
Okay, so Zadan is out, and then Chelan Lars?
Loss. Okay.
Loss. Chelan Loss. All right. So Arash told me that it's a verb in Farsi, which translates to flirty, or flirting to people to get them to sleep with you, is lasadan. And that 100% fits in the way that Chelan uses her beauty to, get to that beautiful museum, get people distracted, to get that huge diamond, etc., etc. And I was thinking, because then her name would change to Flirty Gazelle. Now, I like both. I think for a character, Loss fits a little better. Cinzy, however, is very pretty and it feels more powerful because of the basically because of the cadence of the word Cinzy. And obviously, it has the English word for sin in it, which I personally love. It's a nice hidden Easter egg. But yeah, I think it's good to put this to the vote.
I just personally like how Cincy sounds. It just seems very elegant to me, and I have seen the drawings for the females, and I mean, with how you described them, that's how they are portrayed, and they are very elegant, and I love all of the details that both you and Timothy have kind of collaborated on to make these come to life. Um, so I don't know. I kind of want Sensei or Sensei.
Sin Sensei.
Sensei.
Oh, that's odd because that means that on the I, the last I, there's no dot on it. Because I know in because Cincy or Sinsek comes from Turkish, so that means that if you have a dot, it's an sound, and if it's an I, it's an E. So Sinse.
So you guys know so much about different languages. I'm just like,
Ducks.
I'm over here just taking it
Amazing.
all in. Sensei approves. Yeah. And that also kind of has a different meaning if you think about it. It could have so many facets to this one particular last name.
Hmm.
There's a lot of thinking that goes into this, and I think that this really highlights to the community how much effort you go to and go through to make all of these characters come to life. It's not just random. You're pulling from real life experiences, you're pulling from different languages, and you're really incorporating as much culture um, into our universe that comes from real life. So I personally like it. And how would you feel? Oh, um, Sasha did just want to hijack our leak by saying, when looking for references in regards to the origin of Sasha creating the universe, we're now expanding upon. Think of a combination between Stargate, Dragonlance, and Game of Thrones and The Witcher, and then paint it a little bit more dark and brutal, which I think is a fantastic way to look at this. Like, we are not creating a PG world by any means. We are creating something that is just captivating on so many senses. Ooh, look, we have a new bot that allows people to vote on their favorite name. Look at this. Oh, I love that. Jeremy has outdone himself once again. I agree.
Wow, Sensei went really fast, like up to
Woo!
5
Yeah, just within seconds.
and 6. There we go.
So how do you feel about me leaking how the characters look?
Oh, I think okay, but let me pick one character, please.
Ooh, okay. Pick it. Pick the one character, and how about you leak it in the chat? That way, it's from you.
Well, the thing is that I think they're not split yet.
Oh, I can split them up. Here, we'll talk in like a secret chat.
We're talking a secret chat. Let's go.
Secret chat. This is how I felt playing. We demoed a game recently, and we were all in the same voice chat, and we were all trying to be secretive, and it wasn't. It was not secretive.
Oh god, but you know what the problem is with when Timothy sends something through? They all look so damn great.
I know.
Ugh.
So the problem, everybody, we'll give some background. The problem is that Timothy is so good at his job that when he sends through like 4 options for us to choose from, it's immediately clear that we're not just picking from one. We are picking 3 or more or 2. Like, it can't just be one because there are so many beautiful iterations of just one race that it's difficult. It's difficult to pick
It
from.
is. Let's do the first one. The one with the short hair and the short hair and the gold.
Okay. So give a little bit more background, and I will make sure that we release just the first one.
I mean, this is Chelan to me. The Chelan I know had long hair, but short hair would have suited her. Well, actually, everything would have suited her. But this is Chelan to me. Also, with the type of person that she is and the things that she is going to do. Um, I asked Timothy to make a small adjustment here, which was first, and I'm not sure if you noticed that. And you are going to know exactly what I'm talking about because you have the image in front of you.
Wait, are you talking
But
about the one with the short black hair
with the short black hair and the
and the
like,
gorgeous outfit?
yeah, well, they all have
Okay.
gorgeous outfits, but yes,
Yes. I
with
know.
the black star knight arm.
Yes.
Sorry,
He did. He split him up already. He did the work. Yes. Okay. I want to make sure
awesome.
before I leaked something that we shouldn't have. Are you guys ready for this?
Oh,
Boom.
ready for this?
There we go. That is the
Yes.
very first leak of our female newer, which is a big deal. So congratulations to everybody listening currently.
Yeah, she is definitely a big deal. And I'm going to give you a one small little spoiler here as well. If you open the picture and you look at her arm, um, there's basically like a dark substance on it. And that's gonna be part of who she is. It is not shadow, it is not paint. It is a part of her. And I asked Timothy to actually add that in so I can toy around with it.
So what is it? I would like a full leak here because you can't just hint at that. I want to know the full story behind it, even if it's not completely fleshed out yet.
I also want y'all to actually read the stories, like
Oh, we're gonna read them. We're going to read them.
read them. No, it's going to be the Newers are an engineering race, and she actually has found a way because I mean, look, even though it's split in a lot of the males doing certain things, that's just because they need to do some dirty stuff like the mining labor and such. And in their like in their root in the beginning of their race, the start of their existence, there was just a different division. Now the females are also wildly smart and they do engineer as well. But we all know that women in general are a lot more careful than men, so they don't blow themselves up. But she actually is engineering stuff as well, and she has found a way to harness specific elements in the world in a very limited way to be able to utilize it to either protect herself or to attack when needed. She's going to need it. Like, so there are going to be moments where she is going to find herself in a pinch or, seducing the wrong person. And then she needs to be able to get away. So this is gonna turn out very handy.
That's really exciting. It's just so pretty too. And to know that there is a reason behind everything that you do ask to have added to these, I'm so excited. This is probably like obviously just because of the amount of detail that goes into every single design of these. Like I want to cosplay all of them. And I have said before, like, I want to have Halloween week, we need to have just like a costume contest. And it will be awesome. I will just spend all of my free time creating our characters. And I want these shoulder pieces. They're beautiful. Just the amount of detail that goes into them, it's awesome. And like, is there a purpose behind the kind of like nail claws that you have on her?
Um, that is not.
They're like
Wait, I'm not. I would have to read the briefing if I added them in there, but I think Timothy added them because it portrays the nails. So for the briefing, I send them several supermodels and I send them several high fashion brands on in terms of clothing, and he just ran with it. I don't think I specifically asked for claws, but I can work with these. These are great at it because that is how it works. Like I have something in my head. I asked Timotei, like, hey, can you draw this and this? And based off on what he draws, I find myself changing or adapting a story because I'm like, oh, hey, this is a great idea. I can actually use this. This is amazing. So it's like a back and forth. He draws something and I'm like, this is fucking amazing. I am going to write this into the story because it has to be there.
exactly. It's a collaborative effort. And that's honestly why all of these stories are working so well. It's absolutely stunning.
It is.
I get so nervous because Sasha keeps like typing and then stopping. And I'm
Right?
like, what are you
Hit enter.
saying? Hit enter. Are we leaking the new forest school today? I
I
would
mean,
love to. Do we have a story ready to go for it?
there is no story ready to go for it because there is a story for the Forest Ghoul, and we have them incorporated in the story with Storm and the story with Miri. However,
Oh,
I do want to give a little explanation, and while you look up for the illustration, then you can leak it. So, oh, I don't think I can. Hmm,
oh no.
hmm.
Can you not?
No, that would be a big leak.
Well, we already have what if we just said that it's just but if there's a reason behind why it's illustrated this way?
Let's just say their eye colors change.
Ooh, just a
Let's go
really
with that. Let's go with that.
that's so broad. I love that. So one thing that I'm gonna pull from there are 2 images. I'm trying to make sure that there isn't a huge difference. Okay, there isn't. Cool. So I will also leak this image, and all you're going to say is that their eyes change colors, which I think is it's a good start. It's very basic and explains everything, also nothing.
Moglin makes a very good comment. Her jewelry gives me Goa'uld or Xerxes vibes, and that's exactly
There's the
right.
whole point. Yeah, that is the illustration for this is not a leak. They are already out there. They are in our encyclopedia. Except now they're gonna have some more background. It's really awesome to see the development of our races and the main storylines that really drive their their races' true history and like how they've become the way they become, but also what they're doing with that. But to have background of the creatures that are in our universe, that's a big deal too, because that's who our characters are fighting against and they're interacting with, and we've seen a little bit of that here and there, but to have a completely new illustration behind it and reasons for every single thing, it's it's going to be very exciting. And like we've all said, like this needs to be a cinematic. This is insane. um and it's really just kind of adding to the depth of the feel that we want for our universe. We're going so much darker and deeper into all of the aspects um, that will lead to a lot of really great things.
Yeah, it's gonna get a lot darker, and the way that we've been structuring it now is its first introduction of the races, the animals. There's still quite some animals to be added as well. It's introducing some of our iconic characters, but as you've seen in like the partner stories, there's a lot more going on in this world. There's a lot more things that are happening, and in the background, I've been discussing with Sasha, the meta of the story. What is the grand story? We haven't even introduced any real bad guys yet. I mean, there's some really evil, fucked up, characters to have a nice balance. There's some fucked up organizations which we've seen in Timothe's art streams already, but there's so much more that is going on in the background that is going to happen. That is an explanation for the things that we see. So keep in mind that everything that you read, especially like for instance the story of origin, that is a story from the perspective of the people living now, the people looking at things now. um, so there could be things that you assume which are not entirely 100% the way that you perceive them to be, because there is so much happening. And I think every time I speak to Sasha, there's like, even though if it's an exchange of like 2 sentences, um, there's already something that's locked down that's going to be an epic reveal later on, and I'm so excited.
I could not agree more. And Moglin, obviously, in the chat, if you guys are here, he said, I would love to be in your position. You're so lucky and you clearly deserve it. And Sasha responded with the fact that you are doing an amazing job. And he said, I'm really thrilled we have him on this. I can assure you it wasn't easy for me to give anyone even the tiniest room for independently expanding on what I've been working on for 2 decades, which amazing. But the leash is getting shorter and shorter since day one, and it's already almost not even existent anymore because he takes everything exactly in the direction I had in mind. And like that is so clear and apparent with just everything that has been happening behind the scenes. You're taking something that has so much depth to it. Like I've seen some behind the scenes stuff of what Sasha was working on like even 10 years ago, and this is not an easy task to expand on somebody's whole, you know, creative existence for one project, and you're able to take that and run with it. And it shows. It's these stories are getting crazy, and to know that you have already kind of thought of how each person, the fact that they all tie in together into the universe, and there's so much that's going on behind the scenes in the fact of even just one layer above that. That's all I will say. uh that that's all I can say, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's a huge responsibility, of course, but it's also a huge honor. I mean, I know how it is to create a world, like Sasha said, to have it to like have to like hand it over to someone else to work on it. Like that is your kid. You've been working on that for a while. You've been raising it. You've been dreaming about it. You've been thinking about it. So yeah, it's I mean it's a huge honor, and I'm very happy that Sasha is content. I do regularly ask him like, hey, what do you think, or how does this fit within what you had in mind? Because I do feel it's important to stay true to the story because that makes it so much powerful, so powerful. You know, there was so much there already. Sometimes I feel like I just need to breathe life into what was already there by giving some characters a few names, and that is truly it's truly fun. It's truly amazing. Um, I'm going to give you one more leak. It's a tiny leak. It's one of the characters that Sasha is extremely excited to see. He's been asking for the rule tag. I do have in my head already what they're going to look like. So you've read the story of Corgram and what the city, what the world is like. There's a whole lot more to that. I think the rule tag have one of the most interesting cultural developments from all the races. They seem like just an aggressive warlike race, but if you look at the goddess that created them, they're actually they're basically scholars and artists. One of their characters, he has a very long name. So I'm gonna give you his short name, not the full name yet. His short name, he's known as Nefsa, and Nefsa is Arabic for breath or breathe, and his full name means breath of the emperor. And he's going to be an imperial guard, and I cannot wait. I cannot wait to see what Timotei is gonna come back with the briefing that I sent. I think this was one of the longest and most image-filled briefings that I send him. I send it to him in DM to keep it as much as a surprise, also for the team. I mean, I'm absolutely excited to see what's going to happen here. And again, like Sasha said, the inspiration for these is coming from many worlds. I've added in some Klingon elements there, some samurai, but we're also definitely looking again at Stargate. Just because of certain elements that they have in there that fits the rule deck perfectly. And I think you're gonna love these creatures. They're gonna be snarky. They're gonna be aggressive, but you're also gonna really love them because they're such kind-hearted people.
I am
Yeah,
so excited to see what is to come. I'm a little like antsy because I want to see and read everything right now. So Moglen actually said, would it be possible to see what a briefing looks like of one of the characters that have been realized already at some point?
I think that should be possible. Yeah.
Because when I see the briefings that you guys talk about, like they're so in depth, and I wonder if we can leak them because of that. I feel like you in your briefings you kind of lay out a lot of elements that could hint to other things that haven't.
Yeah, because that is true. Some of them are wildly detailed, and because the characters connect to other storylines. For instance, I did fill Timothy in one of the higher layers of the story because he already needs to start working on inserting certain elements in there. It's funny because I think Moglin made a comment of like, "Hey, you could do some Easter eggs in there, like in Ready Player One." And literally, I looked at it. I looked at the timestamp, and I think literally an hour or so before, um, I mentioned something similar to Sasha and Timothy.
Too on point.
So that is really really cool.
Man. Well, and to kind of tie into all of that, at the end of this AMA, we will be releasing a social media post. One of the ways to enter into our giveaway for this week is we are having another Polemos content creation contest, but it is for our community to bring their own short stories into our universe. So that is being released today, and hopefully we will have a couple of submissions. I know a lot of people are really invested in the lore that has been created for you guys by you guys, and I think that they are going to be very excited for this because I even want to see how other people perceive our universe and our world. Um, I always have in the back of my mind, like, ooh, what if we did this and what if we did this? And by giving our community a voice in that, I think it'll be really interesting and fun. So, uh, it'll be very exciting.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be fun. Um, I mean, our community is already doing quite a lot. I saw that Moglin, started narrating some of the stories, and I actually can't wait, Moglin, to see what you would come up with in terms of creating a fan story. And I think we could even say that if there are some really really good stories in there, we could definitely find a way to incorporate that story into the lore, depending on whether or not it fits the whole universe and the things that are happening. But I think that would be fair, making it a community project. I think that would be really cool.
It's definitely exciting. I'm very I just we've had such amazing community involvement, and this is a good way to kind of start opening up some doors and gates and ether portals into new possibilities. Dun dun dun.
Nice.
I had to do it. I had to do it.
Nice.
Yeah, it's amazing, and kind of, I guess, wrap things up. We only have 10 minutes left, and we are obviously more than happy to answer some community questions. But um, are there any other kind of leaks or pronunciations that you want to touch on that we can share without going too in depth?
Religions, says Moglin. Um, I can tell a little bit more about this. Um, are we
Ooh.
scaring people with gory leaks today?
We are gonna release the first religion, so we are gonna be releasing, this whenever you first pitched this story to me, I was like, "Oh, this is going to be so good," and then you were like, "Just wait, we're also incorporating this and this and this." I'm still trying to be secretive, but maybe we could explain a little bit about where the Book of Essences comes from, before it comes out, just to give people a little bit of excitement, because I will try to space it out a little bit, make you guys stay awake even longer if it's your nighttime, and think about that. But yeah, I think that just talking about the holy essences and all of that would be a good leak since we already leaking it later.
Yeah, it's I'll give you guys the inspiration for this one. I'm an avid fan of any type of fantasy, and at some point, I think like everyone else, I arrived at the Sword of Truth, which is I think it's called Wizard's Laws in certain languages, and they introduced a movement or a religion or a faction that did not believe in magic at all, that believed that magic was only for the creator, and that everything that was beauty and everything that was pretty and everything that was tasty, everything that felt nice and felt great was only to be enjoyed by pious people or actually by the creator itself. So they destroyed everything that's beautiful, everything that's pretty, and the people lived in fear, and they were berated daily by priests who told them that they needed to live their lives like pious people. That was the perfect inspiration for this particular religion. Now they're born, and there's a bigger story there, but I'm not going to leak that yet because that touches on some whole other stuff, and then you can't put your finger back into that hole if you start leaking that. But they are focused on the fact that they believe that the essences should be the actual gods that are worshipped, for several reasons. So the storyline of this particular organization, it is not going to be like a storyline. You're not following like the things about this religion, but you're getting some of their holy text. You're getting investigations from governments. You're getting warnings from journalists, and you're getting research from universities and scholars into what drives people to get to join this specific religion. And I'm actually right now writing a story where our darling Miri will encounter them for the first time,
Ooh.
because of a specific something that she has that they do not like. And one of our female human heroes is going to clash with them very heavily. And so are some of the rule tech. And even the newest, I think that, yeah, Demon Oak, the scientist, is very much a fan of their work, but mostly because of the fact that they're so cruel and they've found ways to kill people whilst keeping them alive, which for his research is very interesting, and he would like to know, and he investigates, and that's how he's close to these people. And Timothée outdid himself on this. Like the shot that is released with this story, it's at the end of a sacrificial moment, but the stuff that happens before, which I've briefed him in detail about, and it's going to be released later. Yeah, I mean, I can understand it kept him awake at night. I have to say, my wife was watching the art stream when it was finalizing the imagery that's going to be released today, and she was like, "What the fuck, dude? Did that come out of your mind? You're absolutely mad. Like, who are you?" So it's definitely one of the most messed up organizations in the universe. Um, but there's going to be some more really fucked up ones, so don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. It's gonna be fine. Everything is fine.
All fine.
All fine. No, this is super exciting, and we just I think that we wouldn't be Polemos without all of our lore. Point blank. Like, the amount of work that Sasha has put into it over the last 2 decades, for the amount of work that you've put into it since you've joined us, like, there is so much that is going to be coming out, and it all has a purpose and a reason. It all ties into each other, and it's all a part of a bigger picture. That's all I can say. But it's been so much fun kind of going through this with you and really getting into some of the leaks that I've been excited to share. Because it's driving a whole new look and feel of Polemos as well. We're shifting direction just based on what you guys are producing. I've been shifting the branding because of what you guys are producing. Like it's amazing to just see it all come together. And I know that I hopefully speak for everyone when I say that you guys have just been doing an amazing job with our lore. So thank you. Thank you for giving us something exciting to just read and have nightmares about before going to bed.
Hey, that's not all me. That's also Timothy.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll blame half of it on Timothy then. Yeah. No, it's been amazing. So that's kind of like I feel like all the leaks that we can give today without spoiling everything that you're working on. And hopefully hashtag soon we can share some of the behind the scenes of what you've been doing with, the briefings that you work really hard on.
Yeah, I'm excited. Also, keep rereading that apparent story, Cryptic.
Oh, okay. Cryptic. Little hint, hint, wink, wink. Keep reading. So yeah, everybody join in and participate in our community contest for this week. And hopefully, we'll get some amazing submissions that might be pulled into the universe. And keep reading all of the lore that we'll be releasing. We will have the Book of Essences out today, which I've been super excited about. And it's time. It's time to go dark and deeper into all of this. So I appreciate all of the leaks we've had.
Awesome. Are you also releasing an audio something?
Oh, yes. That is another thing. I will also be releasing some of the audio recordings that Daniel has been so gracious to provide us. I really like what you've done, and we will have some of that going out today too. So it's a big day for content.
It's a big content day. It's a big content week. Like
It's a big content week. Yes.
we're a little bit like kids in a candy store.
I mean, it was bound to happen eventually, and that eventually is now. So, yeah, I'm very excited, and we are definitely we're prepared to bring everybody in with some more interactive content, and that's where the readings of our stories are going to start playing in. We appreciate everybody's time, and again, Daniel, thank you so much for joining us and talking to the community about all of our lore.
You're welcome. Thank you very much. And hope to talk to you guys soon.